Welcome back to Retro Wednesday. The Tidy here. This is Mike, and today I'm talking about an entire toy line from Remco, and this one is the Lost World of the Warlord. And this is an interesting line. As you can see, this is based very loosely or very closely to the Masters of the Universe line, and maybe you can call it a Motu clone, HeMan clone line. And we're looking to the other HeMan clone lines that Remco did back in the day, but today we're going to look at everything made, all of the figures that they made for this line, and a little bit more coming up. This toy line did not have a cartoon like most of the 80s toy lines did. It did have a comic book, and it seemed like it had a comic book for each of the characters. I don't have any of them. I've not read any of them, but it is interesting that there is a comic to collect along with this. It was a comic run. If you want to collect that along with it, I might pick some up if I see some for a decent price. But without a cartoon, they were really counting on just overflow and people buying it because they look like He-Man figures, I guess. All right, so I do want to start out talking about the fact that this looks like He-Man. So we're going to compare it to He-Man, and you're going to see they're muscular. They have kind of the squatty pose to them, and they would fit in on a Masterverse shelf, on a He-Man shelf, pretty much all of them. But this is a Warlord. This is the Pirates of the Galaxies, and looking at them, they use very similar body styles, well, pretty much the same mold. They did even have the same feet on them. The boots are still the same. So really all the figures have more or less the same mold. They just have different accessories to go along with them. And Motu did that to a point, but these are all very, very low budget, and they try to do it as cheap as they could. Do have different heads though, and which one's superior? It's tough to say. It's really tough to say because they do not have the action in them like He-Man does. There's also the Warrior Beasts, and that is an even more fleshed out line. There's just a whole bunch of beasts that are in that line, but I don't have all of them. I only have a couple, and they just kind of showed up in lots, so it was kind of fun to be like, what is this? Yeah, that's Remco. Let's get into the first one, which is the Warlord. All right, looking at Warlord, I think he's the most recognizable out of the toy line, and I also think that he is probably the one that most people think of when they think of this toy line. And he does a lot of things for this toy line. His name is Warlord, Lost World of Warlords, but that's only one of the comics. There's comics for some of these other characters. He has a cape that's just kind of a vinyl cape. He does have these wings, these wings on his helmet. They fall off real easy, and so well, mine don't fall off, but it seems like it would be super easy to lose those, and we're missing a lot of them. And as we see, it's gonna all have the same bodies. It does look like a wise old man kind of warlord. It does come with this what appears to be kind of like a pirate sword, and of course most of those end up damaged. Kids chew them up or something, I guess. I don't know, dog got a hold of them. He does have this print on his undies, his He-Man underoos, and there's some print right here on his back. But for the most part, a very simple figure, but does look pretty cool. And maybe he's the mascot for the line. Maybe he's what everyone is. What I know, he's what I think of anytime I think of this toy line, or thought of this toy line prior to me trading for some of these figures to a buddy of mine, and which ultimately led to this video. This is Warlord. Let's move to the next one. Next up, we have Arak. Arak. And he seems to be kind of a warrior, and I don't really have a whole lot of information on this guy. But I thought he was kind of interesting because they come with extra accessories, and his is this right here. So it's kind of makes me think along the line of Spirit having some sort of something like that. That just kind of reminds me of that a little bit of the toys. Like, this is kind of a cool thing. It's got a little butt flap back here for it. One thing about these figures I will point out is they did copy, to a detriment, the He-Man Motu style, with this hand that doesn't really hold anything. It's just kind of like a slap your mama hand kind of thing. And then we've got this dagger. It's really just a knife. But we're going to see this reused several times. One time in this line and a couple times in other lines. But overall, pretty cool looking figure. I mean, again, sharing the same body. He's got a headband on underneath what appears to be long hair. The biggest difference between these figures is the fact that the heads are different, so that is his head. He does have some paint apps right here on his wrists. And yeah, overall, I would say the hardest part about this guy is getting his waist piece. And so I usually see them missing. But some people have a vest for him. I don't know if that was just somebody did a custom vest and people are selling them with custom vests on. But that, I think the vest would make this character look a lot cooler. It's Arak. Next up, we're going to take a look at Machista. As there was no cartoon, and I don't even see any commercials that showcase what the names of these characters or how to pronounce them, I'm just going to go with what I go with. And this is another one, exact same body mold. His head is different. His skin tone is darker, and he does look kind of cool. He does share the same accessories that we got with Arak. And now, how I picked my accessories out was looking at carded examples to see what truly came with the figures, and that's what I display with my figures. So it's kind of fun there, or is it fun at all? He does have this really shiny kind of gold foil clothes to him, and then he's got a yellow sort of cloth band around him. I'm not actually sure how. Is this supposed to like glue together or something? I'm not even sure how that's supposed to go together. Something like that, yeah. That's how it's really supposed to look. But anyhow, he does have some orange paint on his boots, reddish orange paint on his boots and his cuffs, and he's got the dagger and this thing here. Now, I don't know exactly what you call this. It's an axe, but it is a specific name for it. Funny thing is I've had one of these in my possession, in my collection for many, many years. And I didn't even know what toy line it went to. And it's one of those things. I got a bag of parts. I got lots of bags of parts. And I don't get rid of them because I know eventually I'll need them. And it was nice that I had one for this line. Anyway, I call him Machista. Other people call him something else. But I think that's how the name's pronounced. Next up we have Hercules. And Hercules is, well, it doesn't really need an explanation, does he? He's son of one of the gods there. I guess I should have a better explanation than that. And anyhow, he had his own comic book. In the carded examples, I only see him with the staff. That same staff is shared with the warrior beasts and others of like. And he has a headband on. He likes to go to the gym and stuff. This gold rope, I don't know if it's 100% correct. Maybe it's reproduction. I don't know. It's just how it came. I'm happy with it. It looks good. I've seen it on cards set up different than this, though, so it's weird how, like, what's the exact standard for putting it on there? And with that, I don't know if people just recarded their own. But anyhow, he does have a brown short variant. I'm not really after all of the variants, although I do have a variant that we'll talk about here in a little bit when we get to the bad guys. And he does also have that same color of boot as we saw with Machista, and he has some different paint apps right there on his wrist. You know, and one of the things, I don't want to stress it, but I don't, the construction is, the arms don't just pop off. They insert in. I'm not exactly sure if you can swap limbs on these at all. And as for the legs, I don't know if there's a band in there or not, but I'm not going to test it. But I haven't seen any of these with broken legs or arms lately, or at all. But they do stand relatively well if you get them positioned right. And how does he look from the back? Yeah, kind of uneventful. Uneventful from the back. It's one of those things, it just feels like he got the least. And I think that they thought, well, Hercules is probably the most popular character out of this line, so he'll sell without having to do too much with him, because he's already got name recognition. So there it is, Hercules. Next up we have Deemos. I think Deemos is a bad guy, but I also feel like he is the coolest of the entire toy line. I like this figure the most. I don't know how to put my... Is it the fact that he comes with this translucent orb that kind of feels like he's stepping into Crystar a little bit? He like kind of crosses through with the Remco Crystar. That orb is hard to get. And then his face sculpt looks cool. He looks like a good bad guy, like a bad guy that would actually get some stuff done, you know. And then he's got this weird kind of vinyl or apparatus It's not a cape. He's got silvery boots and shorts, and then whatever you call this webbing, this gold, not gold. It's like a shiny silver, glistening silver. Yes, it feels like it looks like it could be tinsel for your Christmas tree, but maybe you could wrap tinsel around it if you're missing it. But it is an interesting figure. One that's hard to get complete, and definitely with this orb, I think he's the coolest looking one, probably the most fun looking figure out of all of them. Glad I got him, and I think he's a bad guy. But again, without reading the comics, I don't know. Next up we have a character called Mola, and he does have a variant. He's got, I guess it's a brown hair, and then he's got black hair with the skunk stripe going on up there, and that is a really cool kind of figure. I kind of like it. I'm not sure why the paint's messed up on that. Maybe I can go touch up the black part of the the head he's got going on there. But anyhow, this figure, I wouldn't rate it as the coolest, but it is a very interesting figure. I do like a few things about him. First of all, he comes with a bow. He's the only one that comes with a bow, but there's also a bow that is used in the Warrior Beast, so they use that same bow. It's funny, too, because if for the Warlords, when the bow shows up and somebody says it's for Warlords, it's like a $40 bow. If the bow shows up and it's for Warrior Beast, it's a $70 bow. It's the same bow, but people ask more for it for Warrior Beast for whatever reason. So again, if you're looking for all of these, know what goes with the other lines, and you could probably find them a lot cheaper. He does have this belt, and it's just a cloth strip of red cloth. He has a vinyl. It's not a cape. It's more of an entire bodysuit, an upper bodysuit that's going on there, and it's tattered at the bottom and tattered and torn. It does have a print on it, which is nice. So it's a pretty interesting figure. Blue on the feet. Very interesting figure. I do like the fact that I did acquire both the variants just for fun, happenstance, and one was pretty cheap and one was a little more expensive. And oddly enough, I do think that the one that looks cooler with the stripe, that is the cooler looking one, I do believe that one is more common. Mola makes me want to sing the Ricola song. Ricola. Alright, this is the Warpol. It's a catapult, the Warpol Catapult. And this is what really brought me into wanting to pay attention to this line. I wanted to get the Remco Crystar Catapult, started searching Remco catapults, and this popped up. And it's kind of cool. It's different color, same everything. We're going to do a comparison here in just a bit. It does have this little piece of cardboard here that has that graphic on it. It does have what looks like kind of Viking thing going on, but it does kind of lend itself to the good old Warlord himself with this stuff attached to his helmet. And he's got the 4 wheels. I think I see different variations, like some have different color wheels and different color pieces here, and they're just color variations of within the same line, which is weird. I'm sure they did that on purpose so that you could have some variety in this toy line and just have these right along with it. Now, you would put your rock balls there if you wanted to, but I don't have one, so I'm going to show you. This is where you would put the ball for launching, but I'm not going to launch the ball. I'm not a psychopath. I would lose it forever and ever and ever. And if you want to launch it, I think you just push down on this and then pull that back and it will launch. Little underwhelming there. Little underwhelming. Let's do it again. Yeah. It's maybe I should get a better angle on it, but then you reset it like the same as with the Crystar Catapult. I really think this mirrors the Shatterpult. So they just put whatever in front of Pult, and each toy line gets a new Pult Catapult. Notice that they still used the same base, the same balls, just painted them different. So these are painted different for that. They didn't put anything right here, but they put something, this whole new piece here, which I'm sure that hole would exist on that one. And they have bigger wheels on this one than over here, but that little spike to hold that in. You see that on the Flintstone mobile too. Flintstones, if you ever watch the Flintstones. But everything else is pretty much the same. It's about 85% reuse, which is still quite a bit. But that's the Warpol next to the Shatterpult. So there's another vehicle that's not in scale. It's called the Galaxy Racer. The Galaxy Racer itself is okay. It's kind of interesting. It would be nice if it was scaled with them, but then again, it would be massive. And I think it's kind of one of those pull go action things. Again, I'm looking at a picture, so maybe it is just massive. They also repacked several of the figures with a horse, and I think it's the horse that they made in 1969 or something along those lines. And they just put it back out, made them look a little bit different, added some different accessories and stuff to go with it. But maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I just see those. I've never seen one of the horses in person. Again, just looking at the stuff from pictures. Don't intend on getting a horse. I don't really want to go after a horse. My display has only got so much space, and that's where I draw the line. But I still think it's interesting that they made this. And also, I've seen a lizard, but I think this lizard is more of the kind of a red dragon that goes with their other line. And the other line that is Warrior Beasts. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this look at the Remco Lost World of Warlords, and I'm sure you noticed the similarity to the Masters of the Universe, and there's a few other lines that they made that were similar to this, and I might chase down one. I know I have one almost complete, and I might chase down the other. I'm just not sure of it. Probably not going to touch Conan, but let me know what you guys think about this. Did you have any of these back in the day? Is this the first time you've ever heard of this or seen this? And do you think they're better than HeMan figures? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Teddy Hanger out.